There are people who play to blow everything up, but there are others, and maybe you're one of them, who prefer silence, who like to watch from a distance, turn off the lights, move through the shadows, and solve everything without being seen. And in today's video, we're going to dive into the 15 best stealth games you need to play before, well, you know. So without wasting any time, let's start with one of the most creative, stylish, and freeform games in the genre. If there's a game that really makes you feel like a true master of shadows, it's Dishonored 2. It takes everything that was already great in the first game and cranks it up to an insane level. Arcane delivered a living, creative world full of possibilities, where every mission is almost like a puzzle. You choose how to get in, how to get out, whether you'll take down enemies with supernatural powers or slip by so that no one even realizes you were there. And the best part is, all of this takes place in a setting that mixes Renaissance art with bizarre technology, packed with details that make you want to explore at your own pace. What really sets this game apart isn't just the gameplay, it's the genuine freedom you have. You can play as either Corvo or Emily, and each has very different abilities, which really changes the experience. The game rewards you for thinking outside the box, climbing up balconies, finding hidden shortcuts, disabling traps, and using your powers in creative ways. Dishonored 2 is one of those games where the sense of total control is so strong that even when you mess up, it really feels like it was your own fault. It's immersive, challenging, and stylish. And if you still haven't played it, honestly, you're missing out on one of the best stealth experiences of recent years. A lot of people turn up their noses at 2D games when it comes to stealth, but Mark of the Ninja breaks down any prejudice within the first few minutes. It's precise, stylish, and extremely well designed. Everything here revolves around shadow, sound, and perception. You know exactly where you're safe, where you can be seen, how much noise you're making, and this gives a level of tactical control that few games are able to offer. The result is a tense gameplay experience where every step could be your last or the most brilliant move of your ninja life. On top of that, the stylized visuals, with a kind of dark cartoon vibe, fit perfectly with the tone of the story. Upgrades unlock new ways to tackle each mission, and it's really easy to find yourself replaying levels just to try a cleaner run without being detected. Mark of the Ninja is a masterclass in how to make 2D stealth work really well. If you enjoy being methodical, plotting routes, turning off lights, and vanishing into thin air, this game is going to hook you. Not every stealth game needs to be serious or realistic. Origami 2 shows that you can add a touch of fantasy without losing the tension and strategy. You play as a shadowy warrior with supernatural powers, teleport between shadows, use camouflage, set traps, everything you need to infiltrate fortresses, and eliminate targets without being seen. And if you want, you can even play with friends in cooperative missions that require total coordination. The game has a lighter vibe, with fluid movements and large levels full of alternative routes. It's not as deep as some of the others on the list, but the art style, optional combat, and different approach possibilities make it a great choice for anyone looking to enjoy a stealth experience with a more agile and accessible feel. And let's be honest, using shadows as a weapon is always going to be incredibly cool. This one might seem out of place on the list at first glance, but A Plague Tale is pure emotional stealth. The story revolves around Amicia and her younger brother Hugo, trying to survive amidst the Inquisition and the outbreak of killer rats that have overrun Europe. And since you have no weapons or strength, everything depends on moving through the shadows, distracting soldiers, using the environment, and hoping no one sees you. What's most impressive is how the tension is built. The game is visually stunning, but the contrast between beauty and despair is constant. The stealth sections aren't optional, they're necessary, and that really raises the stakes of every decision you make. A Plague Tale is less about being a silent assassin and more about surviving intelligently. It's an emotional, dark, and unforgettable experience that deserves to be played through to the end, especially if you enjoy strong narratives with gameplay that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Before any Assassin's Creed, before The Last of Us, Ubisoft was already delivering one of the best stealth experiences in history with Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. This is Sam Fisher at his peak, a cold, calculating agent who prefers disabling cameras and turning off lights over going in guns blazing. The game is full of missions where you need to observe first and act later. If you're spotted, the mission can end or, at the very least, become much more complicated. Even though it's a game from the PS2 era, it still holds up well today. The lighting system, the use of sound, the gadgets, all of that really made a difference the way you played. Each level was a mini laboratory of possibilities, and those who enjoyed solving everything without being seen found here pure, almost surgical stealth. It's a classic that deserves to be remembered, and every year we hope Ubisoft wakes up and brings Sam Fisher back from limbo. This is the kind of game that requires patience. Shadow Tactics isn't for those looking for frantic action. It's for those who like to plan, analyze the map, study each card's pattern, and set up a meticulously coordinated ambush. It has a tactical feel, with an isometric view, and you control a group of specialists, each with a unique ability that could be the key to staying unnoticed. The feudal Japan setting is beautiful and well crafted, and the challenge is constant. You need to synchronize actions, use the environment to your advantage, and hope that no enemy sees something they shouldn't. It's the kind of stealth that rewards intelligence and composure, and gives you that wonderful feeling of, wow, I did it, when a complicated plan works out. If you enjoy something more cerebral, this one is a must. Hitman is the kind of game that doesn't rush you. It drops you into a huge map, full of possibilities, disguises, secret routes, and crazy opportunities, and simply says, solve it your way. You can disguise yourself as a chef, a saboteur, a security guard, or even a party mascot, all to get close to your target without raising suspicion. And the coolest thing is that each mission is almost like a living puzzle, where every decision changes the course of the story. The modern trilogy, made up of Hitman 1, 2, and 3, evolves this with each new game, featuring incredible and vibrant environments. It's a more cerebral experience than it seems. You observe, listen to conversations, discover patterns, and create your own narrative. And the replay factor here is insane. You just want to do everything over again, just to try a different approach, another trap, another disguise. If you like to plan, improvise, and disappear without a trace, this trilogy is practically a stealth amusement park. This Thief reboot may have been divisive when it came out, but if you approach it without expecting it to be revolutionary, there's actually a lot of good stuff here. You play as Garrett, an experienced thief who prefers to go unnoticed, steal what he needs, and disappear as if he was never there. The game is focused on pure stealth. Little action, no combat, just you, the darkness, and a bunch of guards with flashlights. The highlight is the level design, which still impresses with its hidden alleys, accessible windows, and secret passages. It's a game that forces you to observe before acting, think through every move, and prioritize staying calm. It may not be the most polished on the list, but it has its value, especially if you enjoy that tense, almost retro vibe, where getting detected means making do with what you have or running out the nearest window. Unlike most stealth protagonists we see out there, Styx is an ugly, sarcastic goblin full of personality. And maybe that's exactly why he works so well. He's fragile, so direct confrontation is almost never an option. Here, you need to be creative, using shadows, traps, poisons, and a lot of cleverness to get through levels full of alert enemies. And when everything goes right, man, it's really satisfying. The map is open, the level design is smart, and the game gives you total freedom to explore and improvise. There's a fun lightness to it, mainly because of the character's sharp humor, but without losing the seriousness of the mechanics. It's a game that might have flown under the radar for a lot of people, but it delivers a solid and different experience from what we're used to in the genre. It's definitely worth giving it a shot. If you like stealth with a futuristic vibe, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is pure gold. Dungeon is practically a cybernetic ghost. You can hack everything, camouflage yourself, use thermal vision, and even go through walls, all to avoid direct confrontation. And what's most interesting is that even with these amazing tools, the game still puts you in challenging situations that require constant planning and attention. The map is open, full of alternative routes, hidden entrances, security systems, and paths that only work if you make good use of your abilities. And this creates a constant feeling of being in control. You plot the route, execute the plan, and if everything goes well, no one even notices you were there. It's stealth with total freedom, set in a dystopian world that's also worth exploring on its own. The focus of Ghost of Tsushima may be on stylish samurai combat, but the truth is that the stealth mode, or ghost mode as the game itself calls it, is one of its most well-crafted aspects. When you abandon the code of honor and choose to act from the shadows, the tone of the game changes. You start using poison, smoke bombs, silent takedowns, and even manipulate the enemy's fear, making them flee just at the sight of a body on the ground. And what's most interesting is how this impacts not only the gameplay, but the narrative as well. The protagonist experiences this internal conflict between tradition and the need to adapt in order to survive. So playing stealthily here isn't just a stylistic choice, but an important part of the story. Besides that, the world is beautiful, and sneaking through bamboo forests and ruined villages has a cinematic weight that few games can deliver. Now, if you want something completely different but still true to the essence of stealth, Invisible, Inc. is a tactical gem that few people have played. It mixes turn-based strategy with stealth infiltration, where you command a team of spies trying to infiltrate futuristic corporations. But here, every move needs to be calculated, like in chess. Entering the wrong room or spending too many actions can mean the end of the mission. What's cool is that the game has a visual style with a futuristic noir vibe and forces you to think like a true covert operations commander. Hacking cameras, distracting guards, hiding bodies, everything matters. And since the levels are procedurally generated, no two games are ever the same. It's one of those games you start thinking you'll just play for an hour, and before you know it, you're on your 4th mission in a row trying to save that favorite agent who got cornered in a room full of traps. Even with all the drama surrounding Kojima's departure and the somewhat unfinished story, the Phantom Pain is still a beast when it comes to gameplay. Here, stealth takes place in an open world, which means you can approach each mission however you want, at your own pace, carefully planning everything or improvising in the middle of chaos. The game gives you so many tools that sometimes you even get lost trying to decide what to use. Tranquilizer, drone, horse, puppy, camouflage, explosives, calling in a helicopter, all of this, with an AI system that responds to your patterns. It's the kind of game where every enemy camp becomes a mission in itself. You observe, mark the targets, analyze patrol schedules and think, how can I clear this area without anyone seeing me? And when it works, it's a wonderful feeling. Metal Gear Solid 5 isn't perfect in terms of narrative, but as a stealth experience, it's still a benchmark. You can spend hours just testing different possibilities and seeing how the world reacts. And even after finishing the game, you'll want to go back and replay missions just for the fun of doing everything better or more quietly. A lot of people turned up their noses at Unity when it came out. And with good reason. The launch was quite problematic. But today, with the updates and fixes, it has become one of the most interesting Assassin's Creeds for those who truly enjoy stealth. The design of Paris is incredibly detailed, and the infiltration possibilities are much more varied than they seem. You can get in through rooftops, windows, tunnels, sewers. Everything is designed to give the player freedom. The focus on stealth is stronger here than in many other games in the series. The dense crowds, disguises, quick and silent attacks, all of this creates an experience where you truly feel like an assassin operating from the shadows. It's one of those cases where it's worth giving it a second chance. Because behind the bugs of the past, there's a solid game that really understands what it means to be stealthy in the midst of the French Revolution. The first thing that comes to mind when people mention The Last of Us Part 2 is usually the story. Intense, heavy, full of layers. But the stealth here deserves just as much attention as the plot. The way the game handles silence, tension, and the use of the environment is simply incredible. You're always outnumbered, with limited resources, and every encounter becomes a decision. Attack or sneak by unnoticed. Sometimes it's better not to even breathe. The stealth is organic, nothing feels forced. Hiding in the grass, using improvised arrows, tricking enemies with sound, creating distractions, all of this is part of the experience. And the most impressive part? The AI reacts realistically. Enemies communicate, actively search for you, and even panic. It's a game that forces you to be methodical, but also human, because running away isn't always a weakness. Sometimes it's pure survival. So, what's that game that made you feel invisible? Or even better, what was that moment when you barely scraped past an enemy and your heart was pounding out of your chest? Don't forget to drop a like, hype it up, because that really helps a lot. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting the bell so you don't miss the next videos. If you're not a subscriber yet, become a treasure hunter right now. As always, thank you so much for watching and for sticking with us until the end. See you next time. Bye-bye.